everybody, Grant Miller here. I'm with Big Omar, Director of Operations Program. What is it? National Fitness Science
Institute, the NFSI, National Fitness Science Institute.
Wow, a lot of words in there. So let's talk about you.
Yep.
How do you get into, I call it physical, is it training? What would you call it?
It's more health and wellness.
Health and wellness. How did you get into that?
Man, I've been lifting and doing, practicing exercise in a structured format maybe since I was 16, 17 years old. And it got to the point that I remember when we were in high school, I played on every team sport, and they were having a hard time getting me out of the weight room. And I'll never forget, one day a coach tells me, he goes, "Omar, you're going to have to choose. You're going to choose to practice with us, or you're going to stay in the weight room." And I told that coach at that time, and I go, "I'm going to stay in the weight room." And he goes, "Okay, you're off the team, but stay in the weight room." And it goes to show you how much, I loved this and how much.
What sports were you playing?
Football, baseball, volleyball, basketball. I mean, you name it. I was in some sort of sport in high school at the time. I was very, very active, but I always reverted back to my love, my passion, what just drives me. And that was the weight room, was physical fitness. I mean, this is just part of me. It's who I was before, and it's who I am now.
Turn your phone on. By the way, weightlifting.
Yes,
there it is. It's like wrestling. It's just you. You're competing against yourself. Yep. That's why weightlifting, and not so much weightlifting, but going in the gym, you're not competing against anybody but yourself.
Right.
So let's talk about your history. You grew up in Miami?
Yeah, born and raised here in Miami. Mm-hmm. Born and raised in Miami.
Okay, what elementary school did you go to?
Well, you're making me think way back. I went to Royal Green Elementary.
Wait, did you live in a Village Green?
I didn't live in Village Green, but very close. I was near Horse Country.
What? Michael lives in Horse Country.
Okay.
He lives on 45th Street.
Oh, I was on 132nd, right by Miller. What is it? Miller Square.
Wow.
Miller Square. Yeah.
Here, turn the volume down on that.
Yep.
Okay. Then what middle school did you go to?
Then I went to Macmillan. Which was right there on 56 on Miller Drive.
And then you went to
then I went to Braddock. Yep.
And by the way, Braddock had a great baseball team this year.
Oh.
They're just loaded this year. The coach did a hell of a job. Okay, so how do you get into physical fitness? How did you get it? I know you loved it in high school, but every guy does. I know you didn't do this. Is curls for the girls?
No, I didn't do curls for the girls, but it was just something that it was just part of me. And I developed this discipline from, I would say, the age of 16, 17 years old, that you just couldn't stop this discipline. Long and behold, fast forward now, I'm 40 now, and that same discipline still resides. And to this day, it's so hard for me to even, break that discipline. And it's the same mindset that I try day in, day out to really instill in the clients that we serve. How do we put that mindset? How do we put these disciplinary actions in play that you can achieve your health goals? So it's many things that we put in. So as a young age, it's always been part of me. Maybe around, I would say, college, mid.
Where'd you go to college?
I went to FIU, Miami-Dade. Can't forget Miami-Dade. So I went to Miami-Dade College. And then from there, transferred over to Florida International here at FIU. So I was there as well. So
were you training people then?
Yes. So from that time, already in college, I started training people, and I had clients from there. I'll never forget my first client. My first client, I was 18 years old. I knew so much, right? So 18 years old, but that's how you learn, right? You learn with experience and any of that. And it was actually a friend of mine that her father reached out to me, and her father tells me, "Hey, can you help my daughter? She's overweight. I know you guys are hanging out all the time. You seem to look like you know what you're doing. I need her motivated because she's overweight." And she was my first client. Never forget. Long and behold, we did so many good things, with her. She was with me for a good time, and from there, it just continued to grow. I continued that aspect, having private clients here and there, but it was always a part-time thing. It was never really a full-time. But deep inside, I always carried this passion and desire to do more. But now, as you're getting out of college, you start to see, okay, what are you majoring in? What are you going to do with your life? Are you going to continue training people? Is that what you want to do for the rest of your life? You're in college. You're like, I don't know. I mean, you're really undecisive. So I went down the path of finance, and it led me to a very successful career in finance, but still doing what I do now in a part-time basis. Correct. So around this time, I worked in Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, Wells Fargo, City National Bank. I mean, you name it. Almost every financial institution here in South Florida, I worked for in some sort of
And you train people in the morning or
in the evening. That was my thing. I mean, they used to. It was funny because when I worked at 1450 Brickell, the security guard was actually concerned because they already saw a pattern. So around 5 or 6 o'clock, they see this guy in a suit go into the parking garage. And I always used to park my car right next to the stairwell on the 7th floor. And they see on the garage, there goes this guy again. He's going to the stairwell. And they used to call me Clark Kent and Superman because I'd come in in a suit and take off the suit, and I'd come out in gym wear to go downstairs where there was a gym to train people. And I would do that till like 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night or 9 sometimes. I mean, it was an interesting endeavor because, again, I just didn't want to let that go. Over the course of that, it just got to one point that I was just sitting in my desk. This is probably back in 2010. 2010, I'm sitting in my desk, and even though that I cannot negate, I love the fact that I went through this, process of finance, because it taught me so much. I have these set of eyes and goggles that a lot of people in my industry don't have. And after that year, I remember sitting in my desk and I just go, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going to just really follow my passion, follow my heart. And I left the industry. I left the industry to do this full time. I started a company that wasn't exactly in line with what I was doing, but it was in the health and wellness space. And after that company didn't go so well. I mean, it hit the ground. It didn't go so well, which enabled me, it was probably the best thing that happened to me, enabled me to start my full-time personal training, health and wellness practice. So in our practice, we have so many cool things because I took the exact same model, which does not exist. It does not exist, of banking, which you have your relationship managers, you have your wealth managers. I took that exact same model and I applied it to fitness. So I have my team of experts. I serve in the relationship management capacity to make sure my clients are served and taken care of. And then from there, the client is embraced with a whole team model, and they're taken care of for whichever need we need to facilitate. So it's a pretty unique model, and it's amazing how I've gone there, and even the fact that I'm here now. There's still things we're always trying to tweak and make better. I mean, this is always on my mind. How can I make this better?
You're not just training athletes. You're training everybody's an athlete.
I train a lot of, to give you an example, and this is the thing that a lot of people tell me. They're like, Omar, oh my God, you train celebrities and you train athletes and this. Like, wow, I wish I could train you with you guys. I'm like, of course you can. Of course you can. I mean, in my eye, everybody is a celebrity in one way, shape, or form. Okay, it doesn't matter. Just because somebody has a profession doesn't mean that we can't do the same thing to somebody else. I specialize more in the over 50 population because they do need a different type of dynamic exercise programming for this demographic than someone of 20 years of age. I mean, that's just the reality of the fact. My other trainers specialize in other things. I have a strength trainer. I have a metabolic hit trainer. I mean, everybody specializes in one thing, and that's how we work with our clients.
I have to tell you a weightlifting story, and you'll appreciate it. So I'm 21 years old. I'm in a gym called Gable's Health Spa. Right. And this guy, 35 or 40, he's benching 250. And I get in and I go, whop, whop, whop. Right. And I see this guy about 39, 40, and he's struggling at it. I go, that's all you could do? He was built. So be careful what you say. Yeah. So 15, 20 years later.
Right.
Now this guy is 55, 60,
Okay.
still doing 225, 250, no problem. Then
Right.
I get on the thing. Like
And there
this.
you go. Yeah.
It's not a race. This is not a race. This is a marathon.
It
Try to keep your body in good shape. And there's one thing is looking good, and one being good. You know, some people are genetically built okay, but they're not in good shape. Correct?
That's right. I mean, it's a funny thing when you see someone that looks like a specimen. I mean, they're completely, every muscle is out, no fat. I mean, an amazing body structure, and they can't run from here to the corner. So they've developed their physique in such a way, but they're missing the physical fitness aspect of it. So it's sad almost in a way, because we've been almost fooled by a lot of marketing that, oh, you train this way, you're going to look this way, you're going to be healthy. Sometimes you're really not, because you're missing so many aspects of it. I mean, I could remember myself going back maybe 10 years ago where I knew better, but I just did not like running. I preferred personally. My clients was different, but personally, I just did not like running. I wanted to be in the weight room, I wanted to lift, and I wanted one specific type of training method. Fast forward 10 years later, and that's completely not the case. I throw everything in the book, and I try to work with. Now you can't get me from running. I mean, I'm always running.
Doesn't that wear down on your knees? Do you run on a treadmill? Do you run out the street?
As long as you have the shoes, the proper running mechanics, you should be okay. Now, where things start to play is when you start changing your terrain. If your shoes are not, if you're not wearing the proper shoes and things like that, it will have its impacts. Yeah.
So you train at one location. Your team trains at one location.
Yeah. So my main locations are Body and Soul Miami. So we're right across from Merrick Park. Right. So we've been there for now about 4 or 5 years. And, unfortunately, when the pandemic hit, that they had to close a lot of the gyms, we had to you think of other methods to make sure our clients were served. Obviously, we were following all the guidelines and everything, but people wanted to train. I mean, they were going crazy. They're like, Omar, what can we do? And we made sure that, they, if it was in a park, outdoors, wherever it was, they were being catered to in a way that was safe, but we had to move, adapt to the current situation.
Like Clint Eastwood says, adapt, improvise, overcome.
That's it.
So speak about adapting. Here, hold your book up. Let's talk about that book.
Here.
Yeah, but let's go to the center camera.
Right there.
All right, let's talk about that camera. I mean, talk about the book. What's in that book?
All right, so The Powerful Medicine of Exercise. In a nutshell, this book explains how there's no coincidence, and you've probably seen this over and over again. When you have someone that has some sort of physical fitness in their life compared to somebody who really has not trained or any of that, in most cases, they will look 5 to 10 years younger. And there's no coincidence. In a nutshell, this book explains why exercise is the powerful medicine. I mean, it's a powerful medicine that really, a lot of times, is doctors will not prescribe it. They'll tell you, right? They'll tell you, hey, go exercise. And the biggest issue is clients or patients don't know where to go, what to do. And if they do, they're not having the right programming. And even if they're not having the right programming, they get discouraged, they fall off the wagon and say, it's not for me. So it's a vicious cycle. This actually helps kind of educate the person on what to do, how to look for a trainer, and to make sure that you're moving in that direction. That's always the important part, that you're moving in that direction.
People fall off the wagon. I hate the New Year's resolution. What's your New Year's resolution?
I don't have one.
I'm going to work. I'm going to work out. It's tough. There are some people that just work out every day, and it's totally impressive. I don't care what their weight is. They're healthy.
Yeah.
Now there's a myth going on. 2 myths. For kids, you lift weights, you're going to be short.
Right.
And we know that's not true. And lifting weights for older people, is it good for their bones?
Big time. It is essential. It is essential. Not to get too scientific, but just
and what's old? Because to you, 40 is old.
There's no old. And I'll tell you why. I've had 80-year-olds come to me falling apart, and I have seen improvement in their physique and overall health at the age of 80, when we're supposed to be declining, these individuals have actually improved, which goes to show you that if you have the right aspects or programming in place, things could get better in your in health wise. Now, if I were to ask you, if you did not know how old you were, how old do you think you are? And this goes to everybody. It goes to you.
I'm
it goes
40.
To 40. Yeah, you're 40, right? I don't even want to answer that question. But I mean, everybody thinks differently, and that's one of the most important things, because again, if you have a health regimen in place or physical fitness regimen in place, it will do wonders.
Okay, the next question. We all talk about, it's not a diet, it's a way of life. People say, I'm dieting. No, you can't think that way. You have to think, this is my way of life. Like, I try to keep under 2,500 calories a day.
Right.
How many do you take?
See, every individual is different. And I'll tell you where I go with this. For me, I would probably take 4,000 to 5,000 calories a day. And you're like, oh my God, it's crazy. I do
everybody else burns
everyone is different. Now, the age-old question, do diets work? The question is yes, all diets work. But there's a but. Is how sustainable are they? Does the Atkins work? Yes. Well, there's just pros and cons to it. Does the modified Atkins right now, does keto work? Yes, it works. Can you sustain all this for a long period of time? Most people cannot. So what happens is you throw your body so out of whack. You go into this type of, let's say, state, right? And I'm not trying to be so scientific, but let's say ketosis or any of that. We go into this state, your metabolism goes one way, and then you shift it once you go back to your regular eating habits. And then you go on another diet, and then you go on another crash diet. Before you know it, your metabolism goes so out of whack that most people, and if you're watching this, you will know exactly what I mean by this, because I'm almost sure you know somebody, or maybe this happened to you, is that when you go on a diet, you lose the weight. When you come off the diet, you're heavier than what you were before.
Now, the issue is people, for example, I'm a somewhat intelligent guy, not real smart, but somewhat. So I said, I'm going to lose weight. I'm just going to starve myself.
Right.
But don't you need to eat more certain meals so your body burns off more?
Right. And that gets very, very granular, because we really have to kind of look under the sheets and see the whole scientific measures with that.
Do I 2 are better hot dogs with chili with fries doesn't count?
There's pros and cons to this. And
it was only 1,500 calories.
Well, only 1,500, but here's what happens. Your body goes into this thing called metabolic adaptation. When there's not enough calories in the system, it says, hey, you know what? Let's slow down the metabolism because we're not having enough calories.
Right.
And now we have an issue because we have a slower metabolism. And that's what happens when people starve themselves. In the beginning, it works. They're like, oh, I'm losing weight. This is wonderful. And then all of a sudden it stops. I'm starving myself, but something's off. You're losing muscle mass. You don't have enough protein in your diet or whatever the case is. You're just burning muscle away. You don't have enough calories, so you have metabolic adaptation. Next, let's talk about the new thing. Actually, it's not new. This has been going on for a long time, but fasting. It's more mainstream, the fasting.
Well, like I fast till noon each day.
So that's another thing. People would ask, isn't that caloric depletion? You're not having enough calories? No, you're just shifting your timelines. When you're sleeping, you're fasting.
I count that.
You count that.
I count that. They say 12 hours. So yeah. I go to bed about 2:00 in the morning. So I don't eat till noon.
It's okay to fast as long as you have your caloric targets. So an example, I do this from time to time. I don't do this every day because, again, I'm in a different state of my training is really just to have more bodybuilding type physique is what I look for. But not everybody looks for that. Some people want to be fit. Some people want to lose weight. That's okay. So what I do, to give you an example, is I will probably go 16 hours without having a meal. And maybe it's 5:00 in the afternoon. And you're like, oh my God, Omar hasn't had a meal. I mean, I've been having coffee, the traditional fasting protocols. But from 5 to about 11:00 at night, I make sure that calories that I was missing, I promise you, I'm eating.
Well, don't they say don't eat after 7:00?
No,
don't eat.
False. That's The problem.
You mean going to Wall's ice cream at 9 o'clock at night? Okay.
Depending on what you eat. Depending on what you eat.
But I'm.
They do have good ice cream, by the way.
But we all get these myths, what we hear. But more important than the diet's very important. Correct.
Right. Yeah. So the foods.
Do you teach that also?
Big time. So that's part of our process. In our sit downs, we always encourage on a monthly basis to have these nutritional consultations. Okay, so we always encourage that. Now, we have to remember one thing in foods. There is a thermic effect of when you digest. So this is what it means. Like if you go have ice cream, for an example,
right?
Yeah, you're bringing in calories into the system. But when you have something like a grapefruit, an asparagus, or something that's almost a negative, let's really go on the end of the spectrum. That's a negative calorie. Just by you eating this type of food, your body has to actually burn more calories to digest. So you can see how the thermic effect of food plays a huge role. That's why they always say the right foods. People don't understand that. They're like, okay, eat the right foods. But this is why when you eat the right foods, you start losing the weight, because you have a thermic effect happening with the other aspects of diet and with exercise. And the most important part is your resting or your burn rate, your basal metabolic rate.
The biggest issue, people want to lose weight. They go, I can't prep all that food.
Right. That is the biggest thing that everybody says. Now, here's the thing. When you work with us, I tell you, forget everything you've ever known in terms of what you see on media, TV, eat this, do this. No, I want you having a normal life. I want you eating normal. I want you having your wine. It's okay to have your cheat meals and this and that, because I flip the whole formula on its head. And this is what most of us have heard for years. I mean, I'm talking 40, 50 years. They've always said, it's all about diet, 80% diet, 20% exercise. Cross it out. So what you've known for right now, it's not just about diet and not just about exercise. It's 50% is mindset. If we train the mind to be a certain way, the 25% diet and the 25% exercise will come into play. But we cannot live without either or. Take away the diet, you're going to have a hard time. Take away the exercise, you're going to have a hard time. So 50% mindset, 25% exercise, 25% diet.
Well, you said muscle memory. That's all included.
Yeah, muscle memory is just it's a little different. It's there's not really memory in the muscle, but your body will work the ways it used to if you train it a certain way. But we always got to be careful, right? We always have to, like you said, everything is not a race. We have to go slow and steady, and you see this with a lot of athletes, high-level athletes. They go all out, and they only last a couple of years before they phase out. The ones who actually are just going at a slow and steady process, the body adapts to a stimulus. And
you brought up some pro. Let's use Tom Brady.
Okay.
I mean, he's a freak, meaning he's played so long,
right?
Not really getting banged up, but he doesn't lift weights. He does a little of everything.
Exactly. That's where science now has proven that in order for longevity of the joints, right. I mean, it's interesting because I've been in the weight room with some pro players, and some are 15 years younger and things like that, and we run pretty close to certain extents, right? Their speed is
but how did Brady get so long? What did he do different? He does.
One thing is, we can never take away genetics is always important, right? Yes, everybody's genetic makeup is always an important aspect.
The Millers have fat genes. We have that.
So even with that, we fight, right? We fight genetics, doesn't matter, but the genetics plays one thing. Number two, his training regimen, before we go to training, his diet is on point. I mean, from what I've heard, I don't know Brady personally, but from what I've heard is, he makes sure that everything nutritional wise.
Yes, he has a personal chef to make sure that
everything's exactly the way it needs to be. I don't even think he has coffee. There's no caffeine in his system or any of that stuff. And that's another thing. His training regimen is a lot with explosives, with bands, right? We all think, oh, weights, heavy weights, bands are the most underrated type of things. Bands are awesome.
Oh, they're brutal. They're worse than weights.
If they're used correctly, they're awesome.
But you're not going to get hurt.
You're not going. Well, you still can, but there's a less likelihood.
Right. For older people, I say older. I'm 64. I don't use bands.
You're not old.
Yeah. I just lift weights.
Right.
I do dead weight. I use machines.
Right.
And some doctor told me I got to be careful. He's probably listening. Don't use the treadmill. I walk an hour a day.
Okay.
He says, don't use the treadmill. Walk on the street. It's better for you.
I like this doctor. Yeah. I like this doctor.
So I walk on the weekends, but during the week, he says you use different muscles. The treadmill
is inertia.
It's a what?
It's inertia. The treadmill moves. So basically you're moving with a moving object under you.
Right.
There's nothing like natural walking. There's some treadmills now that have actually that have been modified that are better for the knees, less stress. They kind of look like a U shape type.
So on weekends I walk my hour, and during the weekday I do the treadmill for an hour.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with the treadmill. Just avoid those heavy runs that people love to do on the treadmill. Is brutal for the knees. But there's nothing like outdoors. We're designed to run, jump, and just do anything that's functional. That's how the human body is designed.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up. But can you put up his company logo or not his logo, his information, where we could track him down?
Yep. So
there it is. If you have any questions, please reach out to you. Right?
Yep, you can reach out to me there at omarcordero.com. That's just a little bit of information on myself, on who is this person, right? Here. Also at the nfsihealth.com, which is our main page. You could, any questions, concerns, just anything you just want to know about, just send a message and let's discuss and see how we can help you out.
Do you go out to dinner at all?
I do.
Okay. So Omar, we're going to find out who you are. You ready, Howard? You ready?
You ready, God, Omar? I'm nervous.
All right. Ready, Omar? Your favorite taco restaurant? Go.
Taco Craft.
Okay. Your favorite pizza place?
Big Cheese.
All right. Big
That's for you, Gary.
Exactly. Your favorite burger place?
Burger place. BurgerFi.
Okay. That's your two first ones are locally owned. Okay. Your favorite animal?
Tiger.
Okay. Your favorite football team?
No, we got to represent the Dolphins. Come on.
Okay. All right, here's some tough questions.
Oh, God.
Your wife's birthday, go.
27th, August. Ooh, July. Oh.
Okay.
July 27th.
Your kids, you have twins.
Twins. It's November 12th.
Okay. You got a mother-in-law?
I do. Oh, my God, I don't know her birthday. She's going to kill me. She's going to kill me.
What's your mother-in-law's name?
Mara.
Come on. Okay.
Don't kill me. I'm really bad with these things.
Who was your superhero as a kid?
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
He's still my hero.
He's still my hero. Love you, man.
Yeah. As a kid, what was your favorite Christmas gift?
Oh, man, I never forget that Nintendo Power Glove back in the 90s.
That was pretty cool. Where do you eat chicken when you go out?
Oh, man. I eat pretty much everywhere. Think. Chicken grill.
Okay. Your favorite hot dog place?
Favorite hot dog place? Oof. I know about Arbetter's, but I just
you don't eat hot dogs?
I don't have hot dogs. I haven't had a hot dog in probably like 15 years.
Okay.
But Arbetter's are good ones.
Your favorite cowboy?
Favorite cowboy? Clint Eastwood.
All right. Your favorite movie? Cowboy movie.
Woo. All right, let's take it back. Back to the Future Part 3. It wasn't even a real cowboy movie, but I liked it.
That was good. Okay. Couple more questions. Your favorite place where you go take your wife for dinner? Fish.
Oh, she loves sushi. Sushi.
Okay, hold on. Okay.
All
right, hold on. You like sushi. Okay.
These are hard questions. Hard questions.
What's your favorite sushi restaurant?
Moon Thai.
Okay. This is not easy.
This is not easy.
Okay. Words. Thanksgiving. Give me some words.
Thanksgiving. How you like that?
Good. Okay. Last but not least, the magic of the mix.
Woo. The magic. Here we go.
Your staff. All right. Why are you guys successful, and why will you guys continue to be successful?
Because we're on the same page. We know how each other think. We are on the same page every time. If something's off, nobody needs to say anything. We make sure we fix it. We're on the same wavelength. That's the most important part.
Well, it was a pleasure. If you have any
Absolutely.
questions, reach out to Omar. Everybody, let's have a great day.